By December 1938, following Goering's acceptance of the plan and the commencement of preparatory work in May of the same year, the expedition officially launched. The expedition ship, the MS Schwabenland, named after the Swabia region of Bavaria, was a freighter built in 1925 and was capable of carrying and catapulting aircraft. On January 19, 1939, the ship arrived at the Princess Martha coast and immediately began charting the region. The journey had a multifaceted agenda. While among its publicly avowed aims was the continuation of the scientific studies begun earlier in the century, there were underlying military objectives wrapped in secrecy. Hermann Göring, with vested interests, sought to learn more about the strategic opportunities that the Antarctic region might offer, particularly keen on understanding the functioning of aircraft in extreme low temperatures, knowledge crucial for future military strategies including the anticipated invasion of the Soviet Union. However, an issue with Germany's plans had quickly presented itself. Just 5 days prior to the arrival of the German expedition, the Norwegians had officially claimed the region as Queen Maud Land via a royal proclamation. Despite this, the expedition proceeded with its planned activities. A temporary base was quickly established, and over the following weeks, numerous teams embarked on exploratory walks along the coast, marking claim reservations on various natural landmarks. The region they charted was christened Neues Schwabenland, or New Swabia, named in honor of the ship that facilitated their journey. Through oblique aerial photography, an area spanning approximately 250,000 kilometers squared, lying between roughly 11 degrees west and 20 degrees east, was mapped. A significant discovery was made in the form of a new mountain range, extending over 800 kilometers in length and rising to heights of 3,000 meters, situated around 200 kilometers inland from the coast. This geographical feature had remained unseen by the Norwegians during their aerial exploration of the ice off Queen Maud Land as part of the Norvegia expedition in 1929. Nazi flags were strategically placed on the sea ice along the coast, asserting territorial claims. In tandem, 7 photographic survey flights were conducted by the ship's seaplanes. The planes deployed nearly a dozen 1.2-meter-long aluminum arrows, each equipped with 30-centimeter steel cones and stabilizer wings adorned with Nazi swastikas. These were embedded into the ice at crucial turning points of the flight path, symbolically outlining Germany's territorial claims. An additional 8 flights targeted specific areas of interest, resulting in the capture of more than 16,000 aerial photographs, a portion of which utilized color film. The expedition enjoyed the favor of good weather, a pivotal factor in its successful aerial mapping endeavors. In February 1939, the return journey to Germany began. The MS Schwabenland would eventually return to Germany and successfully reach the port of Hamburg on April 11th.
Ernst Schaefer was a highly regarded zoologist within the Third Reich. He had a special interest in Tibet, its geographical position and its landscape, located between the Indian subcontinent and the Asian mainland. On the other hand, a different man also became interested in Tibet. The head of the SS, Heinrich Himmler, was fascinated by esoteric ideas, occultism, and pseudo-scientific theories about Aryan origins. For Himmler, the SS was not just a fighting police force, but a cult. Its beliefs culminated in the theory that there was a super race superior to all others. The theory further suggested that the people of Atlantis were, in fact, Aryans, who were scattered into all parts of the world after its collapse, particularly Tibet. Before World War II, in April 1938, a small German scientific contingent, led by Ernst Schaefer and 4 others, left Germany aboard a ship. The entire operation was sponsored by Ahnenerbe, or Ancestral Heritage, an organization founded by Heinrich Himmler with the goal of finding the remains of an Aryan high culture. The organization had previously hosted multiple expeditions across Europe, including Iceland. To be part of the project, all individuals involved, including Schaefer, either had to already be members of the SS or join the SS to participate in the expedition. The team of the Tibet expedition traveled via British India, facing initial suspicion and resistance from British authorities, who monitored their movements closely. The official name for the project was changed and debated multiple times. It seemed wise to omit references to the SS, Ahnenerbe, or Heinrich Himmler to reduce British suspicion, as they feared potential espionage attempts. After much international back and forth and numerous letters, British officials in India eventually granted the Germans passage, but only issued a visa valid for Sikkim, high in the northern region of India. Without waiting for further permits, Ernst Schaefer decided to lead his companions across the border without proper authorization. Tibet, the land of mystery, a region few outsiders had ever explored, was finally within reach. Schaefer, described as a charming figure, managed to flatter and persuade Tibetan officials into granting the group a visa to Lhasa, one of the holy cities of the closed kingdom. The swastika, a symbol shared by Nazi ideology and Tibetan culture, likely helped smooth the process as well. During their time in Tibet, the Germans took an extensive number of photographs, investigated zoology and geology, and discovered ancient texts and manuscripts such as the Kangyur, believed to contain the teachings of Buddha himself. They often socialized with Tibetans, and their enthusiasm for alcohol quickly caught on, leading to frequent shared drinking evenings with locals. The regent of Tibet himself extended their visa, allowing Schaefer and his team to stay until shortly before the outbreak of World War II. Mounting tensions in Europe, coupled with a warning letter from Schaefer's father about the inevitability of war, prompted the group to pack their belongings. Their departure in August 1939 saw them return with an immense haul of equipment, findings, and gifts. These included thousands of animal specimens, birds, reptiles, flora and fauna, along with seeds, eggs, maps, and even a llama dress and a hunting dog intended for Hitler. The 1938 to 1939 expedition to Tibet remains one of the most obscure explorations of the 20th century. Scientifically, the journey was a success. The wildlife and natural environment of Tibet were documented and photographed like never before. However, from Himmler's perspective, the expedition fell short as no findings emerged to support his ideological beliefs, perhaps because his theories were flawed from the outset. Artifacts from the journey can still be seen in German museums, such as the Berlin Natural History Museum. One of the most remarkable relics is a 9.5-inch Buddha statue carved from a meteorite that fell to Earth between 10,000 and 20,000 years ago, brought to Germany in 1939.
1939, they ride through the Western Gate. The strangers arouse curiosity. Very few Europeans had ever set foot inside this closed world. Krauser, the cameraman, is fascinated by everyday scenes resembling life in medieval Europe. The strangers move within the realm of the God King, Reting Rinpoche. Schaefer sets out to win over the Tibetan leaders. The expedition members master the complicated rules of Tibetan etiquette. They discover they have much in common.
We came as ambassadors of mutual understanding. Since the swastika is also the highest and most sacred symbol for us Germans, our visit is an example of the meeting of Western and Eastern swastikas in friendship and peace.
At an audience at the Tibetan court, Schaefer receives a letter addressed to His Highness Mr. Hitler, King of the Germans. May you be blessed with physical well-being, with serene peace and good deeds. Greetings from a divine ruler to the Führer in Berlin. In the powerful Tibetan aristocracy, Schaefer sees a role model for a political system in Germany.
They are ahead of all the rulers on this earth in that they are real kings, absolute leaders, often violent, but usually just. Their way of life is proud and manly.
Schaefer describes Tibetan horsemen as models for elite SS troops, an idea that would appeal to Himmler. But Schaefer spends much time absorbing Tibetan religion. 50 years later, he still has vivid memories of witnessing a shaman predict the future.